Oh boy, the chaos of this show, everybody. Good morning. Look, guess where we are? We're in Los Angeles this morning because of the Impact Award. Impact Awards tonight. I'm getting an Impact Award. I just put some, that I'm traveling. So you guys ever do the wrinkle release? And so the wrinkle release is a little damn. Good morning, Lemonation. Thank you. So it took us a little bit to set up today. I'm going to explain why. There's always something. I know you guys are like, there's always an excuse. There's always an excuse. So I'm here. I did a setup here. At first, I set it up for two because I'm at Tracy's. I'm staying at Tracy's house. You guys know Tracy, our West Coast correspondent. And she's supposed to be on this morning. Perhaps we can convince her. But we'll see. I think she stayed up late waiting for me to get in. My flight was almost 2 hours late. So I got on a plane yesterday after I saw you guys in the live at 5. And we sat there. And then they said, oh, our taxi out is going to be 1 hour and 30 minutes. So then we waited. And then they said, oh, there's a ground stop. And so they stopped and started serving snacks and drinks and cocktails on the plane. And so I waited. And then finally we took off and I got here really late last night. And I think I woke Tracy up and the dogs were barking and all that stuff. So if you guys watch the show, if you are a part of the Lemonation, if you're a Lemonhead, then you know who Tracy is and you know the whole story. So where are you this morning? Wait till you hear what we're going to talk about. It's crazy. Okay. So the reason that I got stuck was because of the weather, and the reason that we are late this morning partially and it's my fault as well, but is because that weather did a lot of did you guys see that weather last night? Right? So Nikki and Andy are here. That we were all affected by the weather. I wasn't traveling. Nikki was, because she has to do everything this morning because Andy, what happened, Andy?
Well, last night the storm was so bad that I don't know if lightning hit it or what, but something caught on fire on the phone lines. And when I went out after the storm, there were lines down all across the street. And this morning, I have no internet.
No connectivity. Did you guys know that? And then did you guys hear that there was a teenage girl, I believe, that was struck by lightning at Central Park?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's going on?
The end times.
It feels like it.
Feels like the end times.
I think it's a little high. I'm going to go down a little bit. I mean, it does feel like the end times, right? I don't know what the hell is going on. It feels like we are in an upside down world because, guys, don't you think, like, this week, we are like agreeing with Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and like, oh my God, except for them. They knew to say I'm not supporting him, or the president said that Tucker Carlson called him to apologize. I don't know. We'll have to see. Oh, I messed up with my phone on that. Yesterday's show is on behind me, and it should be the Don Lemon show on behind me. So anyway, so here we go. They should have known. Is that like a sign of their intelligence or their lack of intelligence if they did not realize that? Is it a grift now? All of a sudden they're like, yeah, Donald Trump did something stupid. Who knew? Who knew that Donald Trump was going to, lie about something? Who didn't know that Donald Trump was a liar? Who didn't know that? We all knew that. You didn't know it? It's got to be a grift, right? It's got to be a grift because Tucker Carlson, I believe, is a fairly intelligent person. I think very educated, right? I think he's Ivy League educated. Candace Owens is a fairly intelligent person. And it doesn't say anything about their morals, but they are intelligent people, I believe. And for them not to know, you even have Matt Gaetz out here. And of all people, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Sheldon Johnson, you are on to what our program is about this morning. The lie that we're going to reveal about Donald Trump. And it's not like this lie just started. We knew this lie from the very beginning, from the first time that he was in office and even before. Even when he was running for president, and probably as he was doing business before he even became president of the United States, or even ran for president of the United States. It's a lie that shows you that he has no idea what he's doing. He has no idea what he's talking about. That it is all, in fact, a 100% grift, and that he is just making it up as he goes along. He doesn't know what it's still waiting for years, right? He doesn't know about foreign policy. He doesn't know what he's going to do with Iran. He's trying to pretend that he knows what he's going to do. He's blustering. And that is a sign of weakness, as a sign of that he has absolutely no idea what to do. There's a sign that he has no compass for taking the country forward and what to do about our allies and our enemies. He's going to do where he's going to go wherever the wind blows. I had a friend that and a former colleague who was a commentator when I was at CNN, and she would say one thing on the pre-call about how she felt about something. And then by the time, an hour or two later, when the show came on, she would do the exact opposite. And we were like, is she punking us? Is she trying to throw us off? What is she doing? And then we saw her one day in her office, just scrolling through social media and trying to figure out what the public consensus was, what people felt on social media. And then that's where she decided she was going to go every single time, rather than relying on her gut about what was right, what was wrong, and how she felt about things. And so Donald Trump is doing the same thing, except this person is a lot smarter than Donald Trump. And by the way, welcome to the program. Did I say good morning? Thank you for joining us. This is Hot Topics. By the way, please hit the thumbs up. It does affect the algorithm. More people, as you know, finish the sentence for me, become aware of our conversation in our channel if you do that. Okay? So please hit the thumbs up, hit the like, also become a member. It's very important for us. And make sure you hit the subscribe button. Okay. If you're following us on TikTok, smash the screen, the hearts. If you're following us or watching us on Instagram, same thing, follow us. And on Facebook, same thing. Okay. So welcome to everyone on every single platform. And occasionally we go live on Substack, but we did not do that today. Is it too late to do that today, Nikki? Yes, probably, because your hands
once we're live, I can't add it.
And your hands are full because Andy is doing nothing today. He's just sitting at home. And he's pretty
Hey, I'm putting the comments on
at
the
home with no internet.
I mean, what should we do about Andy, guys? Should we just let him go home for the weekend? What do you guys think? We want to know. Yeah. So anyways, you guys know I'm joking. It was a big storm yesterday, and we know what happened. It was crazy because I got stuck in it, I know. And as a matter of fact, for the 5 o'clock, I was getting ready, and we were on the phone with Andy. We could hear the thunder and lightning, the sound of lightning behind, like, and wait, Andy, couldn't we hear the street light, the utility or whatever it was outside of your thing, like sparking and blowing up yesterday?
Yeah, you could hear that. It was wild.
Yeah, it sounded like you were in a war zone, Andy.
It's kind of crazy. Did you guys experience that? Tell me, please. And by the way, I'm doing way too much because my sniffle has not gone away. Sorry to do that to you. And also, I took a COVID test, not positive. I think it's just exhaustion. Remember, I went to the doctor earlier in the week. I forget, was that last week or this week? It's so crazy. It was this week, earlier in the week. Went, nothing. He just said, you are run down, mister. You need some sleep and you need to stop working so hard. But, hey, I got to inform you folks. And I got a business to run. And my business, your business is my business is your business. Okay, so let's talk about this. Do you guys know who James O'Brien is? And we need to get James O'Brien on this program because he and I have the very same sentiment, pretty much the same thoughts about Donald Trump as each other. We have very similar thoughts about Donald Trump. And look, instead of me doing a monologue this morning, I am going to turn the program over to James O'Brien. But first, I just want you to hear this whole 2-week thing. So, and then you're going to hear from James O'Brien, who basically is saying everything that I've been telling you and more, exactly about how I feel. Okay. So first, I just want to show you Caroline Levitt. She couldn't wait to get into the briefing room yesterday. I have a note and a message directly from the president. Here is what he just said, as if it was something new, as if this was something new that Donald Trump had never said before. And it is the same old bullshit grift line that he always does. And then the media just kind of eats it up like, oh, the president's going to decide in this amount of time. So here's what I want you guys to do, okay? So I think I did, what did I say? Yeah, we love James O'Brien. We got to get him on here. So we're going to do hashtag, and what did I do? I call it N2E. N2E. Now, should I do two? Yeah, should I do two E's or one E? Or hashtag, and you guys decide, N2We. I think it's the second one. So I'm going to just put it in the chat. Which one should we do? Now, I want you guys to start doing that on the internet. Tag the show, tag me as well. Okay, if you go on someone else's platform, say, hey, I was over at the Don Lemon Show. If you're watching on our friends Midas, who we love, or any of the folks who we Mockler, or any of the folks, because we know where a lot of our viewers are the same thing. If you go on there, say, hey, do the @Don Lemon Show, hashtag Don Lemon or whatever, and do the in 2 weeks. That is the thing. N2E. N2E. Or N2E. Sorry, it's called N2E, not N2E. N2E. Because that's exactly what he does. Okay, N2E. So here's what we do. Caroline Levitt runs into the briefing room. Oh my gosh, a message directly from the President of the United States. Roll it.
I have a message directly from the President, and I quote, based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks. That's a quote directly from the President for all of you today. So we'll kick it off for questions here in our new media seat. We have
and within the next 2 weeks. Oh my gosh. Everybody get ready. I said, someone said ITW. No, we need to go to N2E. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to hand it over to, this is him channeling me channeling him, the one and only Mr. James O'Brien. Here it is.
Next 2 weeks. We suggested yesterday that two things determine Donald Trump's decision-making process. The first is the easiest to map. What is best for me? What is best for me? What will make me like my reflection in the mirror even more than I do already when I look at it after making this decision? And the second is the, I think, fair observation that he's never done anything that Vladimir Putin would disapprove of. From Ukraine to domestic politics, he's never done anything that Vladimir Putin would disapprove of. So he's waiting, isn't he? He's either waiting to see which direction the crowd runs in so that he can then push his way to the front of it and claim that he's leading, or he's waiting to get his instructions from the Kremlin. I know that's a little bit tinfoil hat. I'm fully conscious of that, and although I'm not going to apologise, I'm absolutely going to acknowledge it. And the other element of the conversation, of course, will be the fact that he doesn't know because it's not obvious. He makes his decisions based on who spoke to him most recently, or the last voice that he heard. It's most obvious during the tariffs thing. So it's not obvious to him what is best for him to do. Shall I pardon the people that stormed the Capitol on January the 6th? Hell yeah. I mean, I can see why that's good. A, it keeps alive the lie that I actually want. B, it tells people minded to murder public officials that if they do it in my name, they'll get released from jail or they won't face any charges. C, it terrorizes and terrifies both the population and the elected politicians that represent. Easy to decide what to do in that context. Shall I introduce tariffs? Well, yeah, that's a great idea because it's going to both raise. I mean, it's just crazy, but the people are too stupid to understand it, and they'll think I'm a genius because I'm doing so. So you can usually pick the path that he will follow, and yet this time I don't think you can. So I think he's introduced this 2-week pause because he's got absolutely no idea what to do, and
he has absolutely no idea what to do. Now, you guys know I always like to give receipts. I like to show you what I mean. I just don't come up with these things off the top of my head because there's no evidence for it. Okay? I just don't do it. Now, I'm going to show you something. And you may think that this is just something new that happened with Iran or just since he became president for the second time. This what I'm about to play you, because if we did it from this time, if we did it just from his second term, we would be here all day, at least for an hour or maybe, well, I shouldn't say all day, at least for an hour or maybe longer of playing the clip of him time after time after time saying the exact thing. This is from 4 years ago. Nikki, check it. I believe this is from 4 years ago that someone put this together.
It is. It was Vice News put this together.
Vice News put this together 4 years ago. Okay? So I want you to listen. MAGA sycophants, all of you people who love you, Donald Trump supporters, you forever Trumpers, I want you to listen to this because he is playing you very similarly to the way that Bibi Netanyahu is playing America. By the way, if you guys can find me that clip, please, of Bibi Netanyahu since 1995. It's very similar, and I'll play it right after this, okay? It's very similar, playing you. And if you are not, perhaps you are the poorly educated. Perhaps you are the poorly educated, because you will notice a pattern that some of us have noticed a long time ago, and it took some of us a longer time to notice, and others are just ignoring it. Okay? 4 years ago, in tweet. Here it is. Hashtag in tweet. Watch.
I'm going to make a policy speech in 2 weeks, and I think you're going to like it.
We're going to be announcing something, I would say, over the next 2 or 3 weeks that will be phenomenal in terms of tax.
Wiretap covers a lot of different things. I think you're going to find some very interesting items coming to the forefront over the next 2 weeks.
We'll be reporting back sometime over the next 2 weeks as to NAFTA.
I'll be making a big decision on the Paris Accord over the next 2 weeks.
What about infrastructure? When is that going to happen?
We're going to do infrastructure very quickly. We've got the plan largely completed, and we'll be filing it over the next 2 or 3 weeks.
When will you make that decision?
Over the next couple of weeks.
We're doing very well in the fight against ISIS, as General Mattis has just explained, and we're going to be having a news conference in about 2 weeks to let everybody know how well we're doing.
And the mines are starting to open up. We're having a big opening in 2 weeks.
We've had tremendous success against ISIS in our fight in the Middle East. We're doing very, very well. We're going to be having a news conference in 2 weeks on that fight.
Our Secretary of Labor is coming out with a plan in 2 weeks.
You're going to have some big news. I think we're going to have some of the big drug companies in 2 weeks. We are coming out with that plan in 2 weeks. We are coming out with so many health care plans.
And women, unemployment recently reached the 65-year low. We think that's probably the lowest ever. But as I've been saying, in 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
All right, I'm going to pause it right there. Is anybody getting what I'm saying? Am I breaking through to anyone, especially the MAGA sycophants here? Am I going to change anybody's mind? Do you understand that this man is a grifter and a liar? Everything is in 2 weeks, in 2 weeks, in 2 weeks. And by the way, please, I just want to preface it here. Nikki, please give me the Tulsi Gabbard when she says there's no, weapons of mass destruction, so to speak, from Iran. In 2 weeks, in 2 weeks. Again, we're halfway through this. But I hate to just go this long, but I just need you to see the bullshit. And in this time that we're in right now, it is incredibly important that we have people who are in leadership who can guide us through these tumultuous times. Guide us through these very perilous times. And we have someone who cannot, who can only puff himself up and do what's best for his ego rather than what's best for the United States, and in this case, the world. Remember, 4 years ago, how many weeks is that? 52 weeks a year. I want you to think about that. How many weeks is that? How many 2 weeks is that? That we never got answers for anything. It's just like the lawsuits that he does. He just pushes them down the road, delay tactics, filing appeals. His appeal, this is his version of filing an appeal about making a decision on any of this stuff, on anything that he has to make a decision on. His delay tactic is 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Keep going. I got it.
Will be. Within 2 weeks, I think you'll be historic numbers. We're signing that deal in 2 weeks. We have the dumbest immigration laws in the whole world. Watch what happens over the next couple of weeks, folks. Wait till you see what happens over the next couple of weeks. You're going to see a very secure border. We'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks. We're going to be seeing a lot over the next couple of weeks. I like her very much. In fact, I'll be seeing her in 2 weeks. And we're going to have another big announcement in 2 weeks that'll take place over the next 2 weeks. And we're doing one other thing that, believe it or not, is even bigger, but you'll be seeing that over the next 2 weeks. It doesn't have to be today. It can be tomorrow. And it can be in 2 weeks from now. You understand? I said, do me a favor. Tell the Prime Minister that I'll call him back in 2 weeks. I'm busy. He said, 2 weeks? That's a long time. It'll be under construction very shortly, in a couple of weeks. The peak, the highest point of death rates, remember this, is likely to hit in 2 weeks. We have tests coming out, perhaps over the next 2 weeks, that will blow the whole industry away. And you'll be seeing this over the next, I think, over the next couple of weeks.
The coronavirus is disproportionately affecting communities of color. I wanted to know what your administration will do to address this.
We're coming out with a report in 2 weeks on it, and I want to get to the bottom of it, too, because it's a totally disproportional effect. It really is. It's pretty amazing, actually. We will be doing another stimulus package. It'll be very good.
When are you going to do it? When are you going to announce it?
I think over the next, I think it's going to be bipartisan. I think it's going to be over the next couple of weeks, probably.
I want to ask you about minimum wage.
I'll have a statement over the next 2 weeks on minimum wage. We're going to have another exciting news conference over the next, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 weeks? What do you think? Maybe in 100 years from now, maybe in 2 weeks. Who knows? The problem is, folks, they all have a memory, including us. 2 weeks, and we forget.
Have I convinced you yet? Over the next 2 weeks? Perhaps I can convince you over the next 2 weeks. Now, I think that has probably worked for him in real estate. Oh, when's the building going to be ready? When is it going to be inhabitable? Or when can we occupy? When can we move in? When can we do this? When are you going to get us the payment? When are you going to get us the bill? When are you going to pay us? 2 weeks. Give me 2 weeks. 2 weeks. When are you going to have the windows in the building? Like, when can we start moving our stuff into this building? 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Over the next 2 weeks. That sounds very similar to, does it sound similar to you? Bibi Netanyahu.
Stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months.
They have the wherewithal, the stored up, preserved knowledge to make a bomb very quickly if they wanted to do it.
Iran is so dangerous. Weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
They're very close. They're 6 months away from being about 90% of having the enriched uranium for an atom bomb.
Iran is gearing up to produce 25 bombs, atomic bombs a year, 250 bombs in a decade.
Ladies and gentlemen, time is running out.
Iran will be capable of producing alone, without importing anything, nuclear bombs within 3 to 5 years.
Huh. It's almost as if they are kind of the same person, right? It's almost if like the lies and the grift or whatever is politically expedient or works for the people that you need to convince and to bring on your side, whether you're telling the truth or not. It is the same tactic. So what are the American people supposed to believe? What is the world supposed to believe? In 2 weeks? In a week? Or 2? Or a year? Huh. It just makes you wonder, doesn't it? Now, as it relates to Donald Trump, his in 2 weeks can be detrimental for a lot of us. And so I take you back to my friend, my new friend in my head, and we're going to become friends. I'm going to work like hell to get him on the show. Mr. James O'Brien, in regards to Donald Trump. Here it is.
First question this morning was going to be, what do you think he's going to do? Now, nobody knows. And crucially, he genuinely doesn't. He hasn't got a clue. Because he's not listening to military experts. He's not listening to his generals. He's listening to them, but he's not going to make the decision based on what the intelligence tells him, based on what the experts tell him, based on what Israel tells him, based on what the European Union allies tell him. He's not going to make the decision based on anything that is traditional, factual, or evidential. He's going to make the decision based upon his narcissistic self-reward. He's going to make the decision based upon what he thinks is best for him. That's why he's given himself 2 more weeks to do it. It's not about Iran's nuclear capability. It's not about geopolitics. It's not about threats to American troops. It's what's best for me, Donald J. Trump. And he's given himself a little bit more breathing space. He may not need all of it, but that's what he's done. A proper leader, of course, would move decisively and quickly, rule out action or engage in action. But he's not a proper leader. He's a narcissistic creation.
And thank you, sir. You're spot on. And if you have, check him out. Check out James O'Brien's program. He's 100% correct. And then I'm going to show you, there's been lots of talk from everyone. My former colleague, Jake Tapper, did a book on Joe Biden, his cognitive, they're hiding in the cover up of Joe Biden's cognitive decline. When Donald Trump can do things in plain sight and no one really questions it, because there is a cognitive decline of Donald Trump that the media is not questioning. And I'm going to give you evidence of it because it plays out in front of our very eyes. And yet and still, guess what? No one really questions it. And I think it's time that we do. And I'm going to show you the evidence and you tell me why. But first, I want to get a word from our sponsors, okay? So support for the Don Lemon Show today comes from Shopify, and we're so glad to have Shopify as a sponsor of this program because Shopify is part of the success of the show because our e-commerce site is on the Shopify platform. Owning this business, starting my own channel and my own production company or my own media company was a dream for me forever. But, I just sat there. I'm like, oh, I can't do that. What if I can't? I've got this cushy job and whatever. And then now I know that I can do it because I had lots of what ifs. What if I can't do it? What if? What if I leave this job? And what if? You should turn those what ifs into why nots with Shopify by your side. Oh, we got the ka-ching. Thank you. Shopify is the e-commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world. 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S., from household names to brands just getting started. Okay, we're on there with our site, the Don Lemon Show merch. Okay, it's up on the Shopify platform. So you may be thinking, what if I can't design a website? I need an email strategy. I need all kinds of tools. I don't know about generating codes and all that. Shopify has all the AI tools to help you get your business up and running, at least a strategy to get it up and running. Social media campaigns, email campaigns, etc. Okay, 24/7 customer service if you get stuck, award-winning customer service. So turn those dreams into change and give them the best shot at success with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/lemon. Go to shopify.com/lemon. That's shopify.com/lemon. Okay, so listen, also something we've been talking about what's happening around the world. It's playing out right now in Iran and Iraq. And there are other atrocities that are happening, especially in Africa, in Sudan and in Africa, and all over the world, really. And here's a cold hard fact for you, because support today comes from, for the Don Lemon Show today comes from MSI United States. Hardcore fact, in sub-Saharan Africa, 4 million teenage girls drop out of school every year because they get pregnant. Just like teenagers everywhere, they experiment sexually. That's nothing new. That should not be shocking. For many of these girls, there's no access to birth control. Most will never go back to school. Some will risk their lives trying to end the pregnancy. Too many will die. Unfortunately, too many of them will die. The good news is there's an organization called MSI Reproductive Services that's known for going to the ends of the earth to bring girls contraception and control over their futures. Okay, so You want to help? Make a donation. Go to MSI, give today. Go to msiunitedstates.org or text my name, my last name, Lemon, to 511-511. Text Lemon to 511-511. For just $26, you can give a girl contraception for 4 years. That's 4 years to complete her education and build a future. Text Lemon to 511-511 or go to MSI. That's M as in modern, S as in safe, I as in informed, unitedstates.org. That's msiunitedstates.org. Modern, safe, informed. msiunitedstates.org. Remember, for just $26, you can give a girl contraception for 4 years and see all the wonderful services they provide by texting my last name, Lemon, to 511-511 and give today. Thank you so much. We appreciate our sponsors. Okay, so now back to the program. Remember I told you about cognitive decline. Everybody, oh my God, Joe Biden losing their mind. We knew Joe Biden was an old man. It played out in front of our eyes, but for some reason there is a double standard about how we treat Joe Biden and how we treat Donald Trump. I don't think there's that much of a difference, except one is loud, bullying, boisterous, lying right in your face and then daring you to defy it. A shapeshifter trying to shape his reality. And a lot of folks buy into it. Now, I'm going to play this, and this is from this week. And I think it's all in, well, it's out in one day, within the course of less than an hour. Now, you tell me if something is not up with this, okay? It is, someone made a tape of it humorously, but I believe it's serious. Watch.
11 o'clock, we're lifting the flag. But we're going to lift the pole now, and then they're going to the other side. We'll have one on this side of the building, and we'll have one on that side of the building properly placed. These are the best poles anywhere in the country, or in the world, actually. They're tapered. They have the nice top. I don't know if you people are aesthetic. They're the fake news. I don't know about I don't know if they're. But it's a very exciting project to me. They call it a lifting. They also use another word, but I'm not going to use that word. You know what that is? The word, it starts with an E. You know what the word is? If I ever used it, I'd be run out of town by you people. Say what you want to.
Okay. Now he thinks he can't say erect a flag. So he's gone from polls to the best, everything is the best in the world, to they're tapered. And then he goes, I can't say erect. It's like, and you guys think that there's nothing cognitively going on there. Okay.
About Biden, he wasn't for open borders. He wasn't for transgender for everybody. We don't know where it's coming from, sir. I said, check out the tariffs. He calls back about a day later. Wow. Somewhere in this group, there's somebody that is going to captivate some movie producer. Not Harvey Weinstein. The only thing too late is Powell. Powell's too late. Too late, Powell. Let's have dinner. Too late. You ever have a guy that's not a smart person and you're dealing with any illegal immigrants in here now? 35 club championships. You all know that. I know that. 35 club championships. Groceries are down. Eggs are down. The eggs. You know what I do whenever I talk about Gavin Newsom? I say, look at the railroad. Austria has very, very flammable trees.
Have you been answered questions about whether you are moving closer, or you believe the U.S. is moving closer to striking Iranian nuclear facilities? Where's your mindset on that?
I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to
do. Is that okay? I mean, is that okay? I guess he calls it the weave, and he's not talking about his hair, but flammable trees. I'm just, what do you think? And yet, and still, people go along with it, and there's not, everything was wrong with Joe Biden. But no one questions this. Why aren't they questioning that? Why are they not questioning that? The thing that gets me is that he can contradict. It's not even as if he's always going against Democrats, because Joe Biden is always the fallback. Joe Biden is always the fallback for this administration. You heard what he had to say about that. Joe Biden is not against this. Joe Biden is not against that. Joe Biden is this, blah, 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 blah. That's a tactic. And when they get in trouble with something that they did or did not do properly, they always fall back on Joe Biden. Now, I'm just going to, let me just play this. this is Caroline Levitt, the same tactic when asked about this whole in 2 weeks thing, in 2 weeks. And it's always Joe Biden's fault. Here it is.
President Trump has said previously in regard to Russia, he's used this phrase about 2 weeks several times in terms of like, we expect like a 2-week deadline and then you give another 2-week deadline. How can we be sure that he's going to stick to this one on making a decision on Iran?
Well,
Oh,
in
Joe Biden.
those deadlines, as you've seen in respect to Russia, Ukraine, might I add, these are two very different, complicated global conflicts, as you know, that the president inherited from our previous incompetent president in the weakness of the previous administration. And the president.
Okay. Not that, well, this president is, as he said, if this president says he's going to do it in 2 weeks, he's going to do it in 2 weeks. The evidence shows that if he promises something, that he delivers on it, but that's not what it shows. So the thing is, so they say, if ever you can't answer a question, if ever you cannot answer a question, here's what you do. You say that it is the Biden administration because that, boom, that's it. Just blame Joe Biden. Remember, Joe Biden had cognitive decline. And now, even the so-called mainstream left-wing liberal media has confirmed it. So it's easy. That's what we can do. Just say Joe Biden. Not that this president is lying and that in 2 weeks. Makes no sense. And it's a lie. So it's Joe Biden's fault.
The president has spent a tremendous amount of time and effort cleaning up these crises that were caused by the last administration's just complete dereliction of duty on the world stage and American weakness. Now we have American strength again. With respect to...
Now we have American strength again. Okay, whatever, Caroline Levitt. Whatever, Caroline Levitt. Now, is it Joe Biden's fault? You tell me. Is it Joe Biden's fault that Donald Trump is being contradicted by his own director of national intelligence? Which is a very interesting thing, intelligence for this administration. Is that Joe Biden's fault? Because I want you to remember, please, I'm going to set this up. Okay, this is a learning classroom. Okay, you ready? I want you to remember what Tulsi Gabbard, who's the director of national intelligence, said just, I think, about 8 weeks ago. I think it was in March, maybe a little bit longer than 8 weeks ago, regarding Iran and a nuclear weapon. You heard what Bibi Netanyahu said. He's been saying that for 30 years now. Iran's near developing a nuclear weapon. Okay. Tulsi Gabbard.
The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003. The IC continues to monitor closely if Tehran decides to reauthorize its nuclear weapons program.
Okay, so now, I don't know if you've seen the reports, Tulsi Gabbard is on the out. She is out. They're mad at her. Okay? And you know who else is mad at her? Or, I'm sorry, mad at Donald Trump. You know who else is mad at Donald Trump? And that's MAGA. That's some of his strongest voices. We've been talking about it for a bit now. Candace Owens, I mean, just not a never Trumper, a always Trumper, discussing Tulsi Gabbard and Donald Trump's flip-flop on Iran and war and peace. If you have lost Candace Owens, if you have lost Tucker Carlson, if you've lost Matt Gaetz, if you've lost Marjorie Taylor Greene, you've got a problem. Here's Candace Owens.
Didn't Tulsi Gabbard literally just testify in March that Iran did not appear to be building a nuclear weapon? Yeah, she did. And Trump has this to say about Tulsi Gabbard, who is his director of national intelligence. You can just dismiss what she says, according to Trump. Take a listen.
Mr. President, you've always said that you don't believe Iran should be able to have a nuclear weapon, but how close do you personally think that they were to getting one? Because Tulsi Gabbard testified in March that the intelligence community said Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon.
I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having.
What is that, guys? You don't care what your director of national intelligence is telling you? You don't care? Because Bibi Netanyahu, called you up and said, yeah, we need a pretext for war. Like we always need a pretext for. We're constantly bombing and killing people all the time. We're committing a Holocaust in Gaza. Could you just go out there and tell them they were building a nuclear bomb? They weren't. And there's been no evidence of that outside of Bibi Netanyahu's trust me, bro, because I guess you have to come up with something to make people hysterical to believe that we have this never ending right to murder human beings. That's what it is. It's a carte blanche that has been handed to Israel to continually murder human beings in the Middle East, to use.
Woo! It kind of sounds like the liberals are the people who are out there saying, calling it as they said, the H word, the Holocaust word, or the genocide word. I mean, it kind of sounds like it's weird. We're in an upside down world now. Now, look, these people are not on your side. Let me just tell you, you cannot trust anything that comes out of her mouth. She may be right on this issue, or at least speaking in ways that that's attractive to perhaps liberals or people who have been saying for a while, like, we need to reassess what is happening with Israel, and especially with Bibi Netanyahu, because we don't know if what's coming out of his mouth is the truth. Okay, so she may be right about that, but I mean, I would not be trusting them for all the people, the folks that I mentioned, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, on anything. And by the way, really? You guys just figured that out? You're not smart enough to realize that Donald Trump lies about pretty much everything, that if his mouth is moving, that he's lying? You knew this before. Candace Owens, you are an intelligent person. I'll give you that. Tucker Carlson, very intelligent person. I'll give you that. Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, no. So, I mean, did you not know that? Come on. You guys had to have known that. You cannot be fooled like the MAGA cult followers, we love the poorly educated crowd. Are you really fooled by that? Or is it now that you're realizing, like, now you have to get yourself in check? Are you covering your own ass for what is about to happen? I don't know what it is. Because now all of a sudden you're starting to sound like the people you criticize all the time. Did you not know that? You should have known better. I mean, I'm just saying, well, I'll let it play out for a little bit, but I mean, my God, Candace Owens, you're smarter than that. Or was this the grift all along to say, okay, I'm going to go along with it? I don't know, but this pivot is awfully odd to me.
Use American soldiers to effect regime changes in the Middle East at the benefit of no one but Israel, okay? While they go, oh, well, we kept our hands, we didn't get involved in that one. Yeah, if you think we're stupid and we're not paying attention to what the results of all these wars have been, Bibi Netanyahu standing before Congress and demanding that we go to war with all these countries, and then we do it, and then they go, oh, we had nothing to do with that. We benefited, but that's just lucky. We benefited Syria. Yeah, we benefited Libya. Yeah, we benefited. That's just Iraq. Yeah, 9/11, but I don't know. We're just lucky that way. So right now, the lack of consistency, it is stunning to watch Trump do this. He's all over the place right now on social media. I mean, he initially signaled right away that America had nothing to do with what happened in Iran, that America was not going to get involved, that he was negotiating peace. Then he signaled that he didn't have any idea that the attack was coming, but also that he did know that the attack was coming. And now he's tweeting we. He's literally using we to describe what is happening in Iran right now. Let's just take a look at some of these tweets. We now have complete and total control of the skies over Iran. Iran had good sky trackers and other defensive equipment and plenty of it, but it doesn't compare to American-made, conceived, and manufactured stuff. Nobody does it better than the good old USA. Oh, well, hey, yeah, we've got our planes in the skies. Okay, American troops might die, but USA, 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 because our stuff is so good and good looking in the sky. The big bad American planes are in the sky. What does he think? We're stupid?
What is it? Maybe he does, because he played your ass. I mean, you guys had to have known. You guys had to have known. Now up next, we're going to hear from some other folks who should be smarter and more intelligent enough to know best. So I'm not going along with this. It was cute yesterday and the day before when we were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm agreeing with them or whatever. You should have known, and you did know. So why didn't you do something about it? Why all of a sudden this 180, this pivot, or as Donald Trump say, this weave? says this weave. Stand by, you're going to hear from that. And we're going to go through some hot topics. We're going to talk about what's happening with Iran and this comparison to Iran and America and Black people with Whoopi Goldberg on The View. We played it yesterday, but we're going to talk about it today. Okay? But first, a word from our sponsors. Support for the Don Lemon Show today comes from BetterHelp. BetterHelp.com/lemon. BetterHelp.com/Don Lemon. Okay? BetterHelp. You guys, we're going through a lot. Everybody struggles. Okay? And it is okay to admit that. It is okay to get help. This month, though, June, just happens to be Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Men today face immense pressure to perform, to do everything, to take care of their family. You got to provide, to keep it all together, keep their family together, all kinds of things, right? So it's no wonder that 6 million men in the U.S. suffer from depression every single year, and it is often undiagnosed, okay? Real men cry. Real men get help. Real men talk to therapists. I do. Seeking help can be difficult. Finding the time and the money to do it, it can be a barrier, especially if you're talking about in-person therapy. But BetterHelp has made it more accessible and more affordable and more convenient for you. Okay? They've served more than 5 million people worldwide. BetterHelp has over 10 years of experience matching people with the right therapist from their diverse network of more than 35,000 licensed professionals. Plus, you can switch therapists at any time. And it works with an App Store rating of 4.9 out of 5 based on 1.7 million client reviews. As the world's largest therapy provider, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off of their first month at BetterHelp.com/DonLemon. That's BetterHelp.com/DonLemon. Thank you so much. We appreciate all of our sponsors of the Don Lemon Show. So thank you. So check them out. Okay, so let's talk about this. All right? Because as you see, Candace Owens is having buyer's remorse, it appears, or she felt that all of a sudden she has been lied to from Donald Trump. Duh. Okay. Guess who else felt that they have been lied to? And these are public people. These are lawmakers, but there's also some civilians too. The I will vote for Donald Trump crowd. Here is Matt Gaetz on Israel. Here it is.
Iran has kicked out IAEA inspectors. There could be portions of their nuclear program that are secret. A nuclear secret in the Middle East. How about it? If the world is interested in a secret nuclear program in the Middle East, there is a country that won't allow any international inspectors. Israel. Israel has a nuclear weapon. Did you know that? I do. They allow no inspections. They are fully secretive and clandestine about it, and the Americans are fully aware. You know what? I don't even blame Israel for this. If they want to develop a nuclear weapon, if they had the blessing to do so secretly, I'm not in judgment of that. But to drag the world into a regime change war over secret nuclear weapons when you have secret nuclear weapons is a bit hypocritical. So here's the deal. How about Iran and Israel both give up their secret nuclear weapon programs?
Okay.
If Trump got that deal, he wouldn't only get the Nobel Peace Prize, they'd probably name it the Trump Peace Prize forevermore. And it's not that crazy to think about Israel denuclearizing. Look at the model in South Africa. South Africa denuclearized right before they stopped.
Okay. Now that is one thing I have to, Matt Gaetz said probably, if you could get Donald Trump, they'd name it the Donald Trump Accords or whatever it is, he would certainly go for it. But do you really think, Matt Gaetz, that he's going to try to get Israel to try to denuclearize? Are you kidding me? Never going to happen.
Stopped being an apartheid state. Prominent voices in Israel and America have called for Trump to recognize Israel's sovereignty over Judea and Samaria, which some people call the West Bank. If that happens, Israel will have to let the 5 to 6 million people who live there vote. And they don't want to do that.
Not going to happen.
I'm not calling Israel an apartheid state. Right now, I don't think they are. But if they are ruling the West Bank, as the neocons would suggest, then the South Africa model for denuclearization is not totally off base. There's a certain bravado at the beginning of a Middle East regime change war. There's enthusiasm, bold predictions of swift victory, and usually a total misunderstanding of what happens next. Oh, Iraq wasn't prepared. Daisy cutter? This is how easily the so-called foreign policy experts believed we would carve our way through Iraq. I saw how many of our bravest patriots were pushing up daisies as a consequence.
Okay, I can only listen to so much Matt Gaetz. You get the point. So now they're speculating on how Donald Trump can turn this around now that they felt that they were lied to. Now they feel that they can do that. Perhaps they can convince him because he is easily convincible through the television. He listens to the last person. Enough of him. Except a little bit more. This is not more about not him. This is more about Marjorie Taylor Greene as well. Oh, we were lied to. And we never thought we'd be lied to by Donald Trump. Okay, well, you fucked around and you found out because you were. Here she is.
We've watched for decades propaganda news. I'll call out Fox News and the New York Post. They're known to be the neocon network news. We have propaganda news on our side, and the American people have been brainwashed.
So now she's saying they have been brainwashed by Fox News and the New York Post. Are you kidding me? Both Rupert Murdoch-owned institutions. What? Are we in an upside-down world? Of course they are. Anytime you hear anything mostly from these things, it is against anything other than conservative values, or if you want to call them values. So now they feel they're being lied to, not only by Donald Trump, but by conservative media, especially Fox News and the New York Post. And she's saying we have our own propaganda. Wow. Crazy. Where are we? Now, just in case you have not been paying attention, this is a compilation of Tucker Carlson, another I love Donald Trump, of everything that was said pretty much this week, a compilation so that you can see you played yourself. Thank you very much for that, Franny Fruit. You need a sound that says, congratulations, you played yourself. I think you're absolutely right. We'll work on that one. Tucker Carlson, everyone.
Just called me, I think, a sleazy feline. So let's be clear.
It's sleazy to imply that I'm an anti-Semite, and shame on you for suggesting otherwise, and I mean that.
By the way, Tucker, it's a very weird thing. The obsession with Israel.
I'm not terrified of AIPAC at all. You're the one who seems a little uncomfortable when I'm asking.
No, not uncomfortable at all. I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of, it says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my...
So you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it and you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology? I'm confused.
What is true is Iran is trying to assassinate Donald J. Trump. We have not apprehended an Iranian hitman trying to kill him. We know that Iran is trying to do so.
In the United States?
Yes. And by the way, like Iran...
This just seems like a huge headline, and you're acting like everyone knows this. I didn't know that. Shouldn't the U.S. military defend its own president? I don't understand that.
And it goes back to...
Because you don't really believe it's true, that's why.
Everyone... Hey, nobody disputes it, Tucker. Did you land on the moon? What other conspiracies do you not believe? Was 9/11 an inside job? And you do your, trademark smirky laugh. I know why you don't care.
What are you even talking about? This is one of the weirdest conversations I've ever had. Shouldn't you apologize?
No, you should apologize. I'm not going to engage in the demanding of apologies.
I've not called you a neocon once, which you are, but I haven't said that.
That's absurd.
Well, I appreciate your taking all this time.
Sure.
And I know you didn't mean it.
Now, so you know. I am saving Charlie Kirk for last because I have a few choice words for him. So let's move into now this whole idea of what. Oh, I had one more. Someone who fucked around and found out. Okay, this woman is in Florida. Now, you guys remember this woman? Because she is a civilian. Okay. She's a civilian and she never thought it would happen to her. She never thought that it would happen to someone she loved. You remember all these people about the Latinos for Trump? I will vote for Donald Trump. Remember them? This lady, I forget her name. What's her name, Nikki? Janet Corrier. She came up with this catchy tune. And now she is crying because her husband has been rounded up to be deported. Here it is.
It's been happening frequently at the 333 Miami Avenue Federal Court building. Janet Correa's husband was detained this week. According to her immigration lawyer, he has already been placed on expedite removal.
That's unfair. It is unfair. I'm so sorry. I can't cry.
Let me ask
I don't
you.
know how I'm going to say that to my mom. My mom don't have a time.
Judel Camejia cannot believe she's going back home without her nephew, 29-year-old Yasael Almonte Mejia. Like many other immigrants, when their case is dismissed, they are detained at the hallway.
Setura, 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 I will vote for Donald Trump. You fucked around and you found out. Are you still going to vote for Donald Trump now? Some people against their own interest. This one was, I believe, in our Hot Topic segment. So if we're speaking about foreign policy, and this was the biggest one, and that I want to discuss. And I just want to play it to you, and then we're going to finish up and get out of here. This is Whoopi Goldberg and the ladies of The View earlier in the week. Here it is.
Right now. And it's slow.
But let's just remember, too, the Iranians literally throw gay people off of buildings. They don't adhere to basic human rights.
Listen, here's the thing. Let's not do that, because if we start with that, we have been known in this country to tie gay folks to the car.
Where the Iranian regime is today in 2025 is nothing compared to the United States.
Hanging black people. So
it is not even the same. I couldn't step foot during this.
Wait. That's not what you mean to say. It is the same.
No, it's not. The year 2025 in the United States is nothing like if I step foot wearing this outfit in Toronto.
Listen, I'm sorry.
I can't have my hair showing. I can't wear a skirt. I can't have my arms out.
I'm telling you,
I literally said it was up to the Iranian people.
Yes,
it is up to them.
And that's why I am saying that it is the same. Murdering someone for their difference is not good, whoever does it. It's not good. So that's why I said you weren't saying what I heard was not what you meant.
I think it's very different to live in the United States in 2025 than it is to live in Iran.
Not if you're black.
Not for everybody.
Not if you're black.
Guys, don't go to Tehran. Do not anyone at this table should go to Tehran.
Let me tell you about being in this country. This is the greatest country in the world. But yeah, I know that. And we all know that. But every day we are worried. Do we have to be worried about our kids? Are our kids going to get shot because they're running through somebody's neighborhood? They are not big deals, and I don't mean to say they're not big deals to you, because that's not what I meant.
And they are not doing well there either. They are not doing well in Iran. They are not educated. They cannot have property. They cannot leave them.
I'm talking about here.
Nobody wants to diminish the very real problems we have in this country. That is no one's intent. But I think it's important we remember there are places much darker than this country and people who deserve rights.
Not everybody feels that way. Not everybody feels that way. Listen, I'm sorry. When you think about the fact that we got the vote in 1965.
Okay, they don't have free and fair elections in Iran. It's not even the same universe. They can't go out of their house. The women.
You know what? There's no way I can make you understand.
No, let me try something. It's like
Try to reverse roles with a black person in this country, let's say, because I think that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
Just try to understand from their point of view. From that point of view, this country does not do them well. Does not go for
I
them.
completely acknowledge that, but
Right.
we're missing.
And we shouldn't compare atrocities.
If you're talking about
Okay.
Iran, of course, is doing worse
Joy.
things. But relatively speaking,
Joy, you know
it feels
this.
bad. On
Okay,
this
but I think you know that Iran is significantly
I guess we're going to come back and
Listen,
talk.
I was in
We're going
college
to come
when
back and
that
talk more
revolution took
about
place.
this.
And I know what happened.
Okay, I'm going on a little bit long here, but and producers, Nikki and Andy, please put up some comments because I want to respond to some of them. One person said, because yesterday when I responded to this, and I said that I am and the ladies there in positions of privilege. What I was trying to point out is that many people tend to think about the people that they know, and so they know these black folks like Whoopi and Sonny and me, and they think like everybody's experience is not that way. It's not the same. And just because you're in a position of privilege does not mean that you can't experience racism or discrimination in this country. It is a different experience for black people in this country, as it is a different experience for Latinos, as a different experience for white people, as a different experience for women, and on and on and on. It's a different experience. So the whole idea about whether it's, look, this is not an oppression Olympics, but we tend to forget some of the atrocities that America has portrayed or has done on particular groups of people. That's not so far in the distant past, and some of them are in the present. And because you may not be experiencing them, it doesn't mean that they don't exist in this country. So I will not pretend to speak for people or a group of people or an ethnicity that or demographic that I don't know anything about. They will never understand how it is to be black, says Charles. No, they won't. They're not. We have no clue how dark it is here behind the scenes, darker than we know, says Rue. Someone says, I hate the ignorance of some people, Rochelle. It is a false equivalency. Fully effing stop. It's not 100% the same. And by the way, if you look at all one has to do, seriously, if you want to know, you've got to study these things like Ted Cruz doesn't know. Look at the literacy rate. Please, somebody Google the literacy rate, I think in Iran in general, and then also compared to the US, and especially for women, I think. But comparing atrocities is wild. But to say like, that it's not as bad for people of color as it is, yeah, I don't think that you can. I don't think that you can speak to that if you don't live in people's shoes. Drive through some of the neighborhoods in this country. Get outside of your neighborhood and drive through or walk through or go, if you dare, to see where some people were set down and put down and some of the things that they have and they don't have. Then you might understand. Go and try and go into those neighborhoods and go to, the unemployment center with people, or just go try to understand folks instead of saying, wait a minute, I can't, because you are looking at it from your particular perspective. Now, again, as Whoopi would say, are we the greatest country in the world? Absolutely. But there are lots of things that we need to deal with in this country. And it can be as bad as in some places that are not democracies. Look at what's happening now when you see folks trying to erase Black history. Folks who are trying to get rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. If you don't think that we're going backwards, then you're out of your mind. If you don't think that they'd like to take us back to a time where it was just complete white supremacy, or white male supremacy, you're out of your mind. If you don't think it can happen, people forget, they get too comfortable. You thought Roe v. Wade couldn't change, and it did. You think that same-sex marriage can't change. It could. You think that affirmative action couldn't change. It did. So I'm just saying, you guys can keep on and fucking around and finding out and saying, they're much worse than we are. But there are some countries that are far worse off than us, and their literacy rates to say that people are ignorant and they're not educated. No, that is false. 100% not true. And to speak of the ignorance of some people, we'll continue this conversation, but speaking of the ignorance of some people, we just celebrated Juneteenth, or marked Juneteenth yesterday, and we'll be celebrating Juneteenth and marking it all weekend, okay? Because I believe Juneteenth should be the entire month of June along with Pride or whatever, okay? So Juneteenth, it's about the freeing of the slaves, and the slaves. Here's the atrocity. It wasn't that long ago. Here's the atrocity, though. Here's to add to the atrocity of slavery. Some people down south did not find out that they were free enslaved people, because someone corrected me yesterday. So yes, I apologize when I said slaves. Enslaved people did not find out until 2.5 years later, when the general came down from the north to tell the folks in Galveston and the people in the south that you are free. But the folks in the south, the powers that be, the white folks, the plantation owners, the slave owners, all this, they did not tell the black folks, the enslaved people, that they were free. They kept them ignorant, as much as they're trying to keep people ignorant now. So that's why we're celebrating a huge part of American history, when people who were enslaved in this country were set free. Who would not want to mark and celebrate that? That should be at the top of the list, except for this ignoramus asshole, Charlie Kirk. Play it.
Everybody, a lot of people are going to be saying happy Juneteenth. It should not be a federal holiday, and I'm on my way to work. Have a good day.
Now, let me just say this, and I want to be very clear about Charlie Kirk, because I would not, much as some people that I talk about in this program and people I've spoken about, I wouldn't necessarily talk about him because I just don't want to give him the time of day or, just even sort of promote him in any way. But Charlie Kirk, fuck you. Fuck off. You played yourself. Because it shows your racism, your ignorance, whatever it is, that you do not want to mark or celebrate a time when your fellow Americans who helped to build this country for free so that you can get on social media and say some dumb shit like that, then people need to tell you to fuck off. Again, because that shows your ignorance, and that shows that you don't care. It shows that you're a bigot. It shows that you're a racist. You don't want to celebrate the freedom of your fellow Americans? You should be thanking Black people for their accomplishments to this country, for helping to allow you the freedom to be able to get online and show your ignorance, or as my mom would say, show your ass. So again, I will say, Charlie Kirk and whoever else says the same shit, fuck you. That is all. I'll see you at 5 o'clock live here on the Don Lemon channel. Go check out our merch store. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Become a member, please. And until then, turn the TV off. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.